This figure, consisting of 3 circles and a line, is automatically and subconsciously recognized as a face, despite having only a few basic features of an actual face. This is an example of the patternicity mechanism the brain uses for facial recognition. Patternicity is the tendency to find meaningful patterns in meaningless noise.
Program is provided by Annenberg Media.
It's really the first buddy story, the first road movie.
It's a root source. Gilgamesh is lumped in there in my head with Moby Dick, Beowulf, and Captain America. Plenty of action.
Sex, romance, there's violence, there's adventure.
Maybe it's survived as long because it can become a little bit of something for everybody.
This is the epic that includes most important philosophy ever. My first encounter to the Gilgamesh was in Japan.
When I read all these versions and translation, I fall in love right away.
The first time I heard of Gilgamesh was through my father. I must have been around 5 or 6.
In New York in the 70s, I would go to cocktail parties and everyone would say, hey, we have to do a comic book of Gilgamesh. And I would pretend like I knew what they were talking about.
I've been reading a lot about mythology and the gods.
I was 16 when I first heard the name Gilgamesh, and I was watching a Star Trek episode that featured him.
Gilgamesh, a king.
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh was born a king, so he had all the advantages of a king and the sort of divinity that hedged a king. He was 2/3 divine and 1/3 human.
Gilgamesh was his name from the day he was born.
He's a tyrant at the beginning of the series. When I did my version, I pictured him towering around 8 or 9 feet. Find your modern day Schwarzenegger, your Vin Diesel or something like that. He's fighting all the time. He's busting things up.
He's arrogant, he's full of himself. He's abusing his subjects, sleeping with women on their wedding nights. He's completely out of control.
And the gods decide to teach him a lesson. They send down a double, and this double is called Enkidu.
Actually, Enkidu is a kind of mirror of Gilgamesh. It's almost like 2 Gilgameshes.
Enkidu is the classic number 2, Sherlock Holmes, Dr. Watson kind of pairing.
When Enkidu and Gilgamesh first meet, they immediately go into a fight.
This fight goes on for 40 days, 40 nights. They have tried each other in battle, coming to a moment and realizing they're equally strong.
What I wanted to show, adding Atlas 2013 layer in the unique video production of Annenberg Learner Multimedia, is the similarity between events and history that occurred over time with patternicity meaning, as the layer of meaning just before the zoom of a fractal. Landscapes of material are landscapes of meaning. Time is itself shadowed as a patternicity, and all landscapes are in time patternicity and fractal. Universe, in fact, is fractal himself. The time, an ideology and landscape in historical perspective draw all together historical geographers to examine landscape as a message to be decoded and as a sign to be deciphered. The range of example is wide in terms of period, from the Epic of Gilgamesh, medieval to modern, embracing Iraq, Persia, Greece, Egypt, Turkey, Israel, Africa, all the Arabian Peninsula and all the continent, Eurasia, North and South America, Australia, the whole globe, the global planet Earth, where the shadow of its motion as a time, tailoring a carpet of meaning, full of patternicity as a fractals.